I'm Scott L. Miller. It is the 26th of March, 2023. This is my vlog of daily life in Leon, Nicaragua. Today we're going to talk about how I'm an apologist. That'll be interesting. I'll see you after the bump. Recording today's video as I'm on foot walking through central Veracruz, so I'm checking out if there's any places for sale because we're trying to start promoting doing our business, relocateNicaragua.com, which the website's not up yet, but will be coming soon. But we do have the email info@relocateNicaragua.com, and you can check us out. And we're doing kind of a promotional thing. I've mentioned a little bit, but I'm going to get the word out there that if anyone wants us to come out and just check out houses that we find, remember, we are not real estate agents, not a thing we'll do. $30 and Marcella will come out and investigate a house, get pictures, get prices, talk to the owners, get all the information for you so that you would know if it's a thing you're interested in, and then potential services from there. But that is something we're doing. So I'm taking some time to do some investigation and search around the neighborhoods to see what's there, because this is the way that you find things. And I've been saying this, right? And people have been asking me like, well, okay, so you say this, how do you actually do it? In Nicaragua, the only way to really find where things are for sale is to walk around and figure out what's for sale. Either they say they're for sale, I'm about to show you one that does, I just happened to come upon one already, or you find places that are just like clearly unlived in and try to track them down somehow, that's a lot of work. But if you just, a lot of places, if they're for sale, they'll just say it. And so I'm going to turn around and show this one. I think I've shown this one previously, but this is definitely a just a shell of a building, so this would be super cheap. But I'm going to show, we just came from, that's Nicaragua 14. We're in the middle of Veracruz. This is a beautiful street right here. Like, these are really nice houses, very quiet little street. This, I want to know what it is. I don't know what it is. This yellow flower only blooms for like 1 or 2 weeks of the year here in Nicaragua, and they're gorgeous. But this space, I'm going to grab a short of this and have it up long before you're seeing this episode. So if you're watching, you'll probably already know. But this is a garage door spot here. This is a decent sized lot. You're not going to have a huge house, but you could have a completely adequate house built to your specifications in a really great neighborhood for this. So I'm gonna have a short. Again, I'm not gonna be able to keep recording here because I got to make a short for that. But yeah, that's something we're trying to get started. We have a lot of services we want to do, but that's so a lot of the times when I'm out and walking, for you guys, I've kind of in the past been like, oh, there's something for sale, there's something for rent, but now I'm actually gonna make a point of like recording where they all are, keeping kind of a catalog of them. But like I said, we're not agents, we're not in any way representing anybody, just getting information and provide, need us to make phone calls for you, need us to come take pictures for you, need me to walk around and find places. Yeah, happy to do it. That's what we're looking to do for a business. I don't want to get involved in any of that commission stuff. I don't want to be on, like being responsible for being I just don't know that stuff, right? I'm not Nicaraguan. I'm not going to sit around learning all of the specific rules and the paperwork and all that stuff. That's what the lawyers are for. Not an agent. That's what lawyers are for. And all you need from us is someone to call some places, get some prices, and take some pictures for you, right? Put the information together and tell you about the neighborhood, maybe scout out the neighborhood a little bit, show some restaurants, whatever. All right, I'm going to take a short of this and I'm going to talk about our topic of the day. All right. So we're walking this beautiful at sunset middle of Veracruz. I love this area, and surprisingly there's still some streets that I don't know, some little sidewalks and interesting little spots. It gets pretty cool out here. Buenas tardes. And it's just such a beautiful area. I love these little streets. It's so quiet. There's like no traffic back here. Always a bit of wind though. That's tough for the recording. I'm doing my best. Well, maybe my beard will cover up the microphone, protect it from the wind a little bit. We will see. So I wanted to address this. So I was called on the channel. I was referred to as the vlogger who is the best apologist for Nicaragua by Bill. And I don't think, but I could be wrong, because I don't think he was meaning it to be complimentary per se. But the reality is that being called an apologist is is kind of complementary. What so that is the Heroes and Martyrs of Veracruz just down there. We're going to head down. I'll just show you this bright street we're about to head down. I have done the street up there, but it's been a while, and I'm not sure I've done the little connector. I've walked most of it. In general, any topic, being an apologist is generally a good thing, right? The concept of an apologist is someone who's defending a position that is not popular. Well, that alone is kind of important, right? Because popular opinions, I mean, by their nature, are normally wrong, right? Or poorly informed, or manipulated, right? The popular opinion comes from the populace. It is what people believe without doing research. The average person on any topic, it doesn't matter, doesn't do very much research, probably doesn't take a very keen interest, is often very poorly informed, and because of those things, is very easily and therefore often manipulated about it. And so anytime you're dealing with a popular opinion, there's a really high likelihood that it is a poor one. And so being an apologist is both very complimentary. It means I'm not falling for the standard misinformation of the world, but it also means that what I do is very important because it potentially exposes things where people have been misled. Misled either intentionally, someone trying to sell them on something, or take advantage of them, or manipulate their opinions to hurt someone else or to further someone's gains. Or simply that there's a thing that seems on its surface one way, but with research you would find that it is another. Now, just real quick, this is an absolutely phenomenal house for sale. I have shown it on the channel before, but I did not walk to it from this particular direction. So I am going to get this on the shorts and show it, because this is a fantastic, fantastic house that, that you guys got to check out. I'm going to stand here for a minute with this barking dog while we do a little bit of the show. But so it's a really important thing. And in my career, because I work in IT primarily, I work as a business advisor. And some of the important things about working in IT is that basically if you're being honest, if you're being a true IT professional, being an apologist is a significant component of your career. Because our job in IT is to tell people things they don't want to hear, is to tell people things they've been misled about, because in IT, almost all of the money is made by misleading people, selling them things that they don't need, configuring things that they don't need configured, setting them up to need more services in the future, convincing people that you're a professional when actually you're a salesman. Nearly everything we do in IT, of course, there's lots of things that we do in IT that are just technical. And there's some things that are just purely advisory. But a tremendous amount of what we do when we're getting honest, when we're being good IT, actually attempting to be professionals and not just trying to make a dollar at it, and when we're in a position of advisory and not just technical, a lot of IT professionals are just technical and don't get the opportunity to really bring the value. But when you're in this world, my entire career is being an apologist. My entire career is explaining to business people that their decisions don't make any sense, and helping them learn how to investigate topics, learning how to think better, how to make better decisions, how to take decision-making intentionally rather than haphazardly. Like, being an apologist is effectively what I do for a career in every aspect of everything I do. I'm gonna get it quick. This is such a beautiful house with these flowers here. Buenas tardes. Just a gorgeous spot. Gorgeous, gorgeous, gorgeous. And so as that, and you can look at my writings, like I've written books, I have hundreds of thousands of writing online. And one of the things that I'm completely noted for, that everyone knows I do, is I'm almost always taking the minority opinion and taking the time to demonstrate why the majority opinion is wrong, right? Why it's demonstrably wrong, why math says it's wrong, why just logic says it's wrong. Like, it's not a point of, and one of the things that people hate is that I argue from a position of logic and facts. I take a lot of effort to do the research and a lot of time to think through. And when I did my research, for example, on how to make RAID decisions, doesn't matter, this is technical, I'm famous for this, right? I am the authority on this subject matter within the IT community. And when I did it, Every time there was an argument, I'd say, well, okay, you can argue with me. Here's the math. If you don't agree with me, tell me where the math's wrong. We didn't use the math correctly. We got the numbers wrong. Sure, tell me. But I did so much research and I understood so much of the math and had so much of the math at hand. And when people would argue, they'd be like, you're wrong. Okay, tell me why I'm wrong. I don't know, you just are. If that's your point, you're not likely to be right, right? People who are right probably know why, and people who are wrong just get angry and emotional. So coming from that position, this is what I do every day, and even now, every day, I explain to people, okay, I realize that every salesman you've ever talked to has tried to take advantage of you in this way. Have they given you logic for that? If they do they just get emotional, or do they back it up with something? Do they have a reason? Are you thinking about the fact that they're making money on your bad decision making? Are you thinking about how they're incentivized to give you bad advice and to lead you down the garden path because you're going to spend more money with them? Oh, I didn't think. All day, every day, this is what I do. I help companies see where people are taking advantage of them, where they're being misled, where what they see on TV is just marketing or propaganda or whatever. And so I'm going to start walking back to that house and show the walk in this beautiful light. Being an apologist, another beautiful house here on the corner. I don't know what this one looks like too much. Very, very cute though. I like the styling. I like the yard. It's got a good space. Good space there. And then those are the gates to Los Altos de Veracruz up there. Some more nice houses between here and there, and heading back down this beautiful street. Okay. So being an apologist is the highest compliment you could possibly have in IT. If you're not an apologist in IT, it means you're not doing IT. I mean, by definition, because our job is to advise businesses on the best solutions for their needs, one of the most important things we do as business people and as IT people is not listen to the crowd, do our own research, take things with a grain of salt, and understand why we're making decisions, why we believe things to be true, why we make the choices that we do. And so being an apologist is hand in hand, part and parcel with being an actual honest IT professional. That really carries on to everything in life. People are always being misled. People are always being sold whatever is handy for someone, right? It's not about a conspiracy theory. Everyone always jumps to conspiracies, but it's not like that, right? It's just some other government wants you to vacation at their beaches instead of someone else's beaches. It's somebody doesn't like, their business being lost, or they wish they could live somewhere and they're jealous, or you name it. It's simple personal gain. It's not groups of people coordinating to do good or bad things. It is simply that people do what's in their self-interest most of the time, and those things are generally not in your self-interest. And so the information you get about most anywhere from abroad is very poor. So being a Nicaraguan apologist is actually, whether he meant it this way or not, I don't know, is one of the highest compliments he could possibly pay me. What he's saying is that I'm taking the time to not listen to the propaganda. I'm taking the time to not just take marketing from other countries at face value, or importantly, marketing from Nicaragua at face value, and really considering what the truth is and what things are really like. And one of the reasons that I like doing this show, and one of the things that people have said a lot to me about why they like me doing this show, is I show all the dogs, for one thing. So this dog is very excited that I'm here. You're very excited. You're I know, I'm really close. And that I take the time to walk the streets, and I'm going to real places, and there's no way for me to be faking anything that you see. It is me in public, in real time, more or less, and you get to see what things are really, really like as I walk the streets. If the streets were scary, I would be fearful walking them. If things were ugly, there's no way for me to hide it for the amount that I have the camera rolling. Of course, I could edit things now and then, but not on any real scale. I may be able to hide, and I have hidden, right? I've had situations where I've been walking down the street and there's been, a dead animal on and I edit that out. Like, very rarely, but it has happened. If something dramatic like that happens, I will edit for that. But in general, you guys see me, I just talk and walk, and it just goes and goes. You're seeing the real thing. And when I talk about what life is like here, yeah, I could be making some of it up, but it's pretty hard to make very much of it up at any scale, because as one of my viewers saw yesterday, he's like, oh, I was driving down the street, saw you and your kids out just walking the neighborhoods. And I'm like, how did I get spotted? Like, I'm getting spotted all the time. Everyone knows where I am. You know, this is my real life. There's no way for me to fly to somewhere else and fly back to do all these shows. Like, you can tell from the sunlight and the current events and the things you see on the street that I'm filming these within, you know, so many hours of the day. So it could be a couple days forward or back. But, you know, I'm actually here all the time. And when I travel other places, I film that and show that to you guys too. So you're getting this real view of my life, that there's no real candy coating. And so whether or not I am giving you an opinion, which a lot of times I am, so you know, right, take some of that with a grain of salt. This is my chosen country to live in, so I have this huge bias towards whatever it is that makes this good, right? Sometimes that's hard to explain, but we all have this. This is something we have to know in IT. Studying biases is very important for IT decision making, and one of the things is whatever choices you've made, you have a bias towards. Either, and normally both, on one hand, because you chose it, it creates a bias for that thing because you support your own choices, but something led you to choose it in the first place. And whatever that is also your bias. So you generally have a double bias for any choice you've made. So that I chose to move my family and uproot everything and buy and invest and live in Nicaragua means I have a strong bias towards it. Everyone who's like me does. So you have to be aware of that, but that's not hidden, that's not secret, you all know that. And beyond that, right, it's pretty easy to get a good feel for what is going on is part of my bias. Oh, I love the food at this place. You say, well, I wouldn't want that food, that looks terrible. Okay, well, you can filter that out. And when I say, oh, it's beautiful weather, you can be like, nah, it's a little bit too hot for me, that's not beautiful weather for me. Okay, you can filter that out. And when I'm saying this is a beautiful house that I'm walking by, you can say, oh, that is a beautiful house, or not for me, maybe he would like to live there. And you may not believe me that I want to live in these places or would like them. I like my place a lot. But there's so much of what I do is exposed. So much of it is just public and visible and recorded. And the same thing is in IT, having worked in IT for so long, these dogs are nuts, that I have somewhere on the order of, and this is real, 500,000 posts, plus many articles, tons of videos. I have another video channel like this one that's just IT, and tons of forum things, responses to things, private messages. Almost all of them you can go look up, research. They're all cataloged. They're all public, right? I'm very passionate about everything I do is in public because I don't ever want someone to question, I think you said that and you buried it. No, if I say it, I'm publishing it because I'll stand by it, right? And I've done that with 500,000 posts in the IT industry. You can look up, and I've had people say, oh, you're just saying that because it suits your need. You know, that's not, you change your opinion every time that you talk. And I say, really? Because we can look up everything I've ever said because it's all public. And I do that. I don't look it up ahead of time when I say that. I know that I'm consistent. And you would not believe how many times I've pulled that. Let's go pull my old recordings. Let's go pull old posts and articles and things that I've written, and let's see if it's not consistent. And every time, I've never once done that, as far as I can remember, and ever had it be that it changed. Yes, there's been times where it was different factors, so the answer was different, right? But never was the logic different. The logic never varied. The way that we come to the answer never changed. The inputs may have changed, which then changed the outputs, but very consistent, and partially because I know everything I'm doing is in public. I cannot be flighty about my answers. I cannot be capricious, or it's going to be really obvious. I have to be consistent. Of course, people change over time to some degree. So, ooh, when I first got here, it was really hot. Now I don't find it so hot. Yes, that's a natural change. You expect that. But when I'm applying logic and making decisions, those things should be consistent, and I feel that they are. So I really feel that watching this channel and all the things I do for travel and relocation and IT and business, you can go and watch years and years, decades, in fact, of it and have a very consistent picture and say, ah, I can see his biases, and I can see what his opinion is, and I can see I have a really good ability to get a realistic view of things through my eyes or through my reporting, whatever. And so all of that is to say, thank you, Bill. Calling me an apologist, is one of the highest compliments. That I'm not a pawn, I'm not easily manipulated, I am not just shilling. Being an apologist really indicates the highest echelon of care, and thinking, and an unwillingness to be manipulated by, and I really don't want to mean, you know, I hate when everyone says, oh, that's a conspiracy, and everybody says, you know, there's a conspiracy about everything. There isn't. Somewhere there are conspiracies. They exist. The world is not full of conspiracies. The world is full of people who are just doing what helps themselves. And a lot of that is hurting other people because, well, I own a hotel on this beach, so I'm going to disparage that beach. I run a restaurant in this city, so I'm going to drive you to that city. Like those kinds of things. That's all it takes, right? So one country will drive you away from another because they want your traffic, they want your manufacturing dollars, whatever, and it's all these things. Those things I'm willing to look past and say, wait, I don't believe all that stuff. Let's go see what's true. It really is. It's a huge compliment, and I think a lot of people who saw it kind of took it that way, and I certainly am. The very first time I saw it, I'm like, I don't know. I don't know if he's using apologist in a friendly way, but whether or not he meant to, I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt. And thank you, Bill. It was an amazing compliment. And he follows the channel, so I have to assume he meant it in the greatest way. And I think Nicaragua, more than almost anywhere, needs apologists, right? They need people who are exposing the crap that's being published. You would not believe the things that people will repeat about Nicaragua. You can watch my videos and be like, wait, there's no way the things that they're saying are true. Why are they saying these things? They think people believe them, and people do. You would not believe the things that people believe and the things that people are willing to say, no matter how logically they don't make sense, how factually you can just look and see that they don't make sense, how easy it is to come down. It's nuts. And if you post on like Reddit, people will be like, oh, he's not in Nicaragua. Like they'll actually, we have GPS on stuff. You can see that I'm here. You can check satellite views and find my car. Like I'm really visible. So yeah, but the amount of it, and when you come here and realize what life is like and then see what people say on the outside, it's truly unreal. And the amount that people fall for it, the amount that people are like, well, but I saw it in a newspaper. Was it a real newspaper? Well, I don't know. I didn't check. Right. You didn't see it in a newspaper. Just some guy telling you lies because he doesn't like somebody or he's trying to promote some personal opinion. That's fine-ish, but you really got to take that stuff with a grain of salt. Don't give it credence, because then you're empowering it. We all need to be apologists, right? About everything in life. And apology is empowering, right? But Nicaragua needs people to come to its defense, because here it feels very ganged up on. Again, not conspiracy, but ganged up on. There's a lot of large populated foreign parties that really seek to do a lot of harm in a very casual way. And because of the way these things work, it's so simple to just say untruths. And that's all it takes for people to go, well, why would I choose to go to this place? Even if they're lying about it, I'll just go someplace they're not lying about, because I don't have to think about it, right? So it's the power of that lie is so powerful. It doesn't have to be believed. It just has to have that tiny little kernel of maybe, and that's enough, right? When you're already afraid of travel, when you're already trying to pick where you're going to go, you don't need to prove someplace is not as good as somewhere else. You just have to hint that the possibility exists that you may not want to go there, and that's enough for most people to rule it out, because there's so many places that they were also considering. And until you know what it's actually like here, you're not very likely to go out and be like, well, I'm going to defend them. I'm going to go there to prove that it's not like that. I'm just going to, move on. That's for someone else to do. Well, I'm that someone else, and here I am doing it. So I take this seriously, and I feel that it's a very important thing. And it came up recently. Rick was here, and he said that they were hearing in Canada that Honduras has gotten so dangerous that he wasn't willing to take a bus ride through it. He didn't feel it was true, but exactly this, right? It's so warned against that it isn't worth it to take the risk, even though he's pretty confident that it's all just propaganda to hurt Honduras. And my reaction, of course, I'm younger and much easier for me to do things like this, but my reaction was, Instantly, I looked up the map to see what it would take. So it was a specific path across Honduras that they were saying, don't take a bus. Like, it's not, if you break down, you'll just be killed. Like, it's so dangerous. And I've done it, right, in the last year, and it was absolutely fine. Like, the things they're saying are nonsensical. But my initial reaction, of course, being me, was, well, let's go see if I can cross the border and walk from the Nicaraguan border to the El Salvadoran border at La Union, crossing all of Honduras over this very dangerous path, and film the whole thing on a GoPro, just to show that, one, I'm not scared at all and I'm not believing this stuff, and two, that you can see the whole path is completely safe and not a thing to worry about at all. My foot is a hold up to that. If it wasn't for my foot, I would have already done it. It's a 2-day walk, so it's really significant, but it's a beautiful walk along the ocean. I totally want to do it. And if my foot gets better, I plan to, but that is my reaction. I'm going to go apologize for Honduras. Like, I'm not going to let them get pushed around like that. I'm going to go show how safe it is. That is my reaction. So anyway, thank you so much for joining me today. Remember to like and subscribe, get down in the comments, let me know what you think about this topic and others, how Nicaragua needs to be defended, what you've heard, all the horror stories that are going on, how much you love loud barking dogs who want to come play with me. And if you'd like to support the channel, I would appreciate it a lot. I have all these cameras and things that I need to be getting in the near future. You can buy me a coffee at buymeacoffee.com/ScottAlMiller. Share on social media. Tell your friends. Let people know about the channel. Tell them that there's someone actually showing Nicaragua, and the things that they're hearing can't be true. You can watch this show, and 95% of the things you hear, you can demonstrably just see aren't true. I'd appreciate it. And as always, I'll see all of you tomorrow.